Are you happy with the state of our country? I'm not. I'm Rob Richardson, engineer, political activist, and advocate for change. I've spent the last 2 decades fighting for the average person. Disruption is not a compromise. Let's shake things up a bit, challenge the status quo, and focus on what's really important to you. Welcome to Disruption. Welcome to Disruption. I'm Rob Richardson, your host, and with me today is Tariq Kamel, and we are here to discuss Trump. Is he Nixon or is he worse? When you really think about where we're at in this country, we have a president that was elected that no one expected to get elected. But not only that, you just think about all the outrageous statements that have been made. As soon as he's elected, my hope was that, okay, maybe all this thing was just a pure marketing ploy and all of this was just something to get him to the White House. That's what people hoped, I think. Don't you think originally?
Yes, I do.
Right? And they got there and said, okay, when he gets there, he's going to change and he's going to be normal and he's going to be a deal maker. Instead, he not only doesn't pivot, he gets worse. He starts making up things in his own mind. He has at his inauguration, somehow in his mind, he saw more people there than any inauguration in history, more than Barack Obama. In fact, it was less people there, much less than Barack Obama and much less than a lot of other inaugurations. But, it must be true because he said it. And he says things like this over and over and over again. Just like, Russia didn't do anything. Russia wasn't involved in anything. And he likes Russia. Let's keep moving forward with Russia. And nothing ever happened. They didn't interfere with the election. And he says things and we're supposed to believe it. And clearly, when there's evidence, it's not spin. We're used to politicians taking a point of view and making it and shaping it towards the most positive light. That's normal. This is not normal. This is lying about any and everything, and it's obvious lies, things that we can catch you like, dude, we heard you say the opposite the other day.
Yes.
And then he says it, and then everyone says, he says, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say it. And we're just supposed to accept it. So I think this is worse. And I want to get your opinion. This is worse for a few reasons. Certainly, Nixon was corrupt. There's no arguing that. He was paranoid. There's no arguing that. But he was at least competent. He understood the United States government. He understood that things have to get accomplished. The EPA was established while he was there. Actually, affirmative action was established when he was there. We ended the Vietnam War. We actually made real progress in the country. Because he knew how to at least govern and he knew how to deal with politics. And he knew that you just couldn't say any and everything you want to at every single moment. I'm also reminded of another paranoid and kind of an abusive person that became president, but he was a very effective president. It was Lyndon B. Johnson. And he became president, obviously, completely unexpectedly, when John F. Kennedy was shot. Many people were very worried when he became the president because he had an attitude and had a lot of similarities to Trump when you look at his background. He was just extremely abusive. He would say whatever he wanted to at any moment. He would certainly manipulate a lot. But when he became the president, he understood that he couldn't be that person. He couldn't just say things the way he always did because the consequences are bigger than just him. When he speaks, it affects the whole world. And so when he got there, people were literally surprised by his level of restraint. That didn't happen here. And so we're at a much different point here. What do you think, Tariq?
I completely agree for, I think, a couple of different reasons, actually. Okay. So, yes, I think Trump says things without maybe thinking them all the way through. Right. Or maybe even thinking, period.
That's probably true.
That's happening.
Yes.
But a lot of politicians are doing that.
Okay.
And what's different now? So in 2017 versus when Nixon was in office is social media.
Yes.
And this culture of I don't have time to check. What's gone on with the newspaper industry? It's dead, right? Yeah. So real journalism is dying. You've got things like spin everywhere. Right. So you've got spin everywhere. And people are busier than they've ever been. So they just listen, or they see it on Facebook, or they see it on Twitter, they see it on Fox News.
Yep. I want to make sure people know who you are, by the way. Tariq Kamel, who is a serial entrepreneur and man about town. So thank you for coming on. Appreciate that. So I want to make sure people know who you are.
You know what? I love that you just jump in.
Yeah.
I love you can't wait to talk about it. That's awesome.
Well, make sure people know who you are.
Okay. So I think the climate has changed.
Yeah.
It has drastically changed. And I think you could really say anything.
How do you think the climate has changed? Tell me.
So, what we do is we really study engagement.
Okay.
And
that's what your company does.
That's what we do as a company. So we understand why people disengage.
Right.
And one of the big reasons why people disengage is that they're underwater.
Right.
So if you're thinking, I'm going to watch Fox News and whatever I've been trained, whatever's on TV is true.
Sure.
I just assume it to be true. Or if I read it in the paper, I assume it to be true. And what they've done is they've extended that belief into social media. If I see it on Twitter or Facebook, I assume it to be true. And you've got people handcuffed. I don't have time to go research it to see, is this actually fake news?
Exactly.
I just assume it to be true. It fits my narrative.
Yep. It confirmation bias.
Confirmation of what I already want to believe. So I think that is a big part of it. And one of the things that we've seen is the sheer amount of content that's being generated is growing at a pace of, and this will blow you away. So we generate more content from 8 a.m. to noon. So in any 4-hour period, we will generate more content than we did from the beginning of time to 2003 combined.
Wow.
4 hours, we do more than that. And so why is that happening? That's because of social media. That's because of smartphones. People are just underwater.
More information, less informed.
Exactly. Right. So I like to say it has never been easier to reach me because of my smartphone and all the different ways and channels you can reach me. But it's never been harder to engage me.
Yeah.
And people just don't have time. So a lot of politicians, not just Trump. I mean, this is an epidemic. He's just in the spotlight every day, and he's taking it to a new extreme.
I agree. Okay, I wanted to say that. I agree that. Okay, yeah, because I think we've seen new levels of this. Like it's
right,
and I think it's because he's. I don't know I think there's something missing there because, like you said, he goes and almost he believes it. And Lyndon Johnson, I've said it before on the show, would often say, who I compare him to, what convinces is conviction. So Lyndon Johnson was able to work himself up to believe something that was completely different from what he believed a year ago.
Yes.
Right. This man, he reminds me of that. He can do it, work himself up, and make you believe he believes this.
Yes. And I think he does believe it.
No, and I think that's why he's effective, because if you don't believe it, people can feel it.
Right.
Right? And so, but he believes, he can take the extraordinary position of, or he has extraordinary ability of believing this one day and then take the 180, he can believe it the next day and make you believe that he believes it each time. What's incredible is that this is working with people and this total narrative is working. And I want to actually play this video that is really illustrating what's going on with the media and really goes to your point about people not being able to check. And the fact is that this administration, better than anyone else, is taking advantage of that.
All we're saying is, I think that we should take a really good look at what we are focused on, what we are covering, and making sure that it's actually accurate and it's honest. If we make the slightest mistake, the slightest word is off, it is just an absolute tirade from a lot of people in this room. But news outlets get to go on day after day and cite unnamed sources, use stories without sources, have, you mentioned the Scaramucci story where they had to have reporters resign.
Come on, you're inflaming everybody right here and right now with those words. This administration has done that as well. Why in the name of heavens? Any one of us, right, are replaceable, and any one of us, if we don't get it right, the audience has the opportunity to turn the channel or not read us. You have been elected to serve for 4 years at least. There's no option other than that. We're here to ask you questions.
Right.
We're here to provide the answers. And what you just did is inflammatory to people all over the country who look at it and say, see, once again, the president is right and everybody else out here is fake media. And everybody in this room is only trying to do their job.
Well, I disagree completely. First of all, I think if anything has been inflamed, it's the dishonesty that often takes place by the news media. And I think it is outrageous for you to accuse me of inflaming a story when I was simply trying to respond to his question.
I mean, are you serious? That's Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who's doing a press briefing at the White House, and she's giving the position that I believe is the company line from the White House. The people that are being dishonest is the media, and he's never dishonest. It's the fake news that's making all this stuff up. None of this is happening. None of it happened. There was no lies going on. He didn't fire the FBI director. President Trump didn't fire him because of the Russian investigation, even though he later said that's why he fired him. His initial reason was he was trying to protect Hillary Clinton. Does anybody believe that? I mean, does anybody believe that? And how can we get people... talk to me, Tariq, how do we get people off of these distractions? How do we get people engaged in a way? Because I'm worried that this could actually work. I mean, if this could work, that he can just continually, like you said, politicians that have done it across the board, both parties, there's no disagreement there. But this is different. This is on a higher level, and it's a more... I believe it's just a more absurd level. Is this where we're going? Is this the trend? And then what can we do to fight this?
So I would say what he has done is what has been going on for a long time. So we've been on this path for a while.
I agree.
Where it is, I'm a politician and I want to stay in office.
Right.
That is my whole goal. I spend 70% of my time when I'm in office getting reelected. Yep. Raising money.
Absolutely.
As opposed to what is right for the country, what is right for my constituents.
Right.
So they're not really held accountable anymore. It's all about spin. And so what he's done, he said, I'm not even going to play the game. I'm just going to go straight out there and just do whatever I want to do. So to some extent, he is exemplifying to a whole new level what has been going on for a long time. And we had a conversation over coffee.
Yeah.
And that conversation was around this concept of there's a fundamental flaw. It's not red or blue. Yeah. There's a fundamental flaw with how we as constituents hold our politicians accountable. That does not exist.
No.
And until we as constituents get fed up and say there has to be a better way to do this, what's going on today is not working. We fundamentally need to go down to the foundation. So things like immigration, tax reform, terrorism, gay rights, you name it, those are all a smokescreen. You can either agree or disagree. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Nothing's really going to move in a big way either way. And they don't care. As long as I'm in office, they win. And we are blind to that. So until someone shakes everyone and says, you guys have been played.
Right.
That is what's happening.
I believe, but I agree with your analysis, and that is the reason why he got elected. Because
exactly. They want change.
That was his message. What you said was his message. It wasn't real because obviously he's not following any of that. But what's the way? Is there a way through technology engagement? How do we do this in a way? I can talk to you about systemic reforms that can help hold politicians more accountable. I believe there are definitely answers that are out there. My issue is how do we get people to understand that that's important to happen, and how do we get them to understand that they should be motivated by that and not by these issues that get them emotionally connected but really distracted to what's really going on.
So I got a ton of theories around this on what's the best way to accomplish this, but I think the Trump presidency could be that spark because people are so fed up. They don't want career politicians. They don't want more Clintons in the White House. They know that's been ineffective. And I think the reason Barack Obama won is because he was different.
I agree.
Why did Trump win? Because he's different.
Agreed.
People are it's like if you have cancer, you will do anything. You'll try anything to survive. That is what we are saying with our vote. Right. I will try anything because that's better than what I've had. And what's happening is with this presidency, people are going to say, actually, not all change is good.
I agree with that.
That might wake them up to,
That's a good point.
there's a more foundational issue that we need to address.
Yes.
And I feel like there will be something that comes out, something like a Tea Party. So it kind of grows organically, even though that wasn't truly organic.
Yeah.
There'll be something like a Tea Party that will come out, and their whole focus isn't smaller government. Their whole focus isn't tax reform or anything like that. Their whole focus is, we have got to hold the people that we put in office accountable. And we can never do that because they are setting the rules.
Right.
It's their game.
And I agree with you. The challenge there is, though, that people, all of us by nature, are inherently emotional.
Yes.
And so we think emotionally, everyone first. So to do that, you're going to need to be able to connect the emotional first to the rest of it. And my hope is, what you're saying is that this Trump presidency is a wake-up call. It needs to be a serious wake-up call. I just hope too much damage isn't done in the interim. But it should be a wake-up call to, things are completely broken and people are completely frustrated. What are we really going to do to make sure that we can hold politicians accountable and affect long-term change, real change, not just emotional issues that get us distracted in the short term and really divide us? Because that has been the game, that has been the strategy. I don't think that's going away. My hope is we can have a moment that we can actually get some things accomplished and break the dam, at least for some period. So that's the hope.
I think this presidency is either going to be catastrophic,
yes,
for any number of reasons, or we're going to look back and say, that was a big turning point for us. We as a country saw this happen and realized these guys are just playing games with us.
Yeah.
We have got to hold them accountable.
Well, I have faith.
We're going to find out.
I have faith in the people that eventually we're gonna definitely correct course. I can't remember who says it. Said America always does the right thing after trying everything else first. So that's Disruption with Rob Richardson. Tarek, I really appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks
Absolutely.
so much.